So, Lord Hathor, you've kind of challenged me on whether or not I have actually knowledge in science. Even though I think my videos speak quite well for themselves in that regards. But let's deal with one of your videos here. The one called Measuring God, in which you claim that why do us atheists, but of course you're mostly referring to scientists, I guess, which are not the same thing. I do hope you understand that. But you wonder why we are willing to believe in the unmeasurable things that you claim are unmeasurable in your video, and not believe in the unmeasurable thing of such as God. Well, let's deal with that concept of measuring. Science doesn't claim to be able to measure everything. And those things that it can measure, it doesn't claim to be able to measure them accurately with specific units. What science does is allow us to develop models, aka theories, to build a framework of understanding on why things are the way they are. And that's exactly what's happening here. You mentioned about gravity. Well, first of all, you said things that you had mentioned that these are things that we can't measure or test. Well, we can measure gravity and we can test gravity. Yeah, we can't see gravity, but then again, science doesn't work only with what you can see or touch or smell or hear or taste. Science also deals in what's called inference. In other words, you don't see what happens, but you see the effects of what happens. And from those effects, you can infer how these things came about. It's kind of like, as Dawkins actually brought up in his most recent book, The Greatest Show on Earth. It's kind of like looking at a crime. And you didn't witness the crime, you didn't see the person kill the other person, but there are clues there that you can make inferences from to allow you to determine who if the suspect actually committed the crime or not. So, we don't always get to measure things. Yes, we can't measure a graviton. Well, they may not even actually exist. But hey, that's just one of the hypotheses underneath the theory of quantum mechanics. We can't measure it, but we can certainly infer, based on things we can measure, whether or not a graviton could possibly exist. Of course, today most of gravity is dealt with Einstein's theory of relativity. We're trying to shoehorn it into quantum mechanics so that we can have a theory of everything. And with relativity, gravity is a warping of the fabric of space-time. Again, we can't see space-time distort, but we certainly can measure it. And we've done experiments to measure exactly that, and they've come back to confirm that theory. Now, your other one, you're mentioning emotions. Emotions, whether it be love, hate, anger, fear, anxiety, whatever it may be. Emotions are directly related to the neurological state of the brain and the neurotransmitters and chemistry of the brain. We know this is true as well. Why? Because we can test it. We can actually look at those things. And we can see that among humans, and we can use humans in this case, we could also use primates and other animals, that yes, we can actually see brain states are similar across the board for specific emotions and for specific emotional states. We know that some chemicals, like oxytocin, which is a neurotransmitter, leads to that strong feeling of love we have. Now, knowing these things doesn't make them any less important to us. It just makes us understand them. And there's nothing wrong with that. So your claim that we believe in immeasurable things, well, that's not entirely true, because we can measure them. And we can make inference based on measurements of those things that we cannot directly observe for whatever reason. For example, we cannot directly observe an electron. We know electrons exist. We may not know their exact nature in many ways. I mean, they're not a point particle, though they can sometimes behave as one, but we can infer the existence of an electron from the effects we witness. Stick your finger in a light socket if you want to find out. So there you go, Lord Hathor. Look at this. Just within minutes of this little comment war we're having, I've brought you this video. Within minutes. Not enough time to research any of this stuff. Not enough time to look it up, really. But certainly enough time to do a video and let you know. So I'm going to post this to your video if you allow video responses. If not, I'll simply tell you about it. Have a good day.